Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Joel Rosen here with an awesome patient of mine who is giving me permission to talk to you today about some of the impacts that we've had with her health. Rainey, can you tell us how you first heard about our office and what you were dealing with?
Well, after my mom first passed away, I fell apart not only mentally and but physically, and it was really strange because I started having all these physical problems, whereas I didn't have them before. I started having temperature regulation. I was always cold. I couldn't regulate it right. I had brain fog. And yes, you could say, oh, I'm depressed, or that kind of thing, but it was different. That all these things were happening. My vision got worse really fast, and everyone's, oh, that's just age related, but no, it was like it was very strange how all these things started falling. I would get dizzy when I go from sitting to standing really fast. I Oh, I was bruising easily. I was like lethargic. So I had a lot of these problems. So what I ended up doing is I did my 23andMe.
Well, first you went to the doctor first, and what did they tell you?
I went to my regular doctor,
right.
And I told him I had all these issues, and
Right.
he told me that I needed grief counseling.
Right.
And
Right.
I was like, thanks a lot.
And I think we have to mention you're a nurse.
Yes.
So you know about the body, you know about something's not right. Since my mom passed, I have all these symptoms that are beyond just the normal impact of losing someone. Something's wrong, right?
And I told him,
Right.
And he told me that, and I said, okay. I told myself, I guess I got to go a different way about this to figure out what's wrong with me, because I was going to, find out.
Right.
So anyhow, I did my genetics, and I started researching my genetic defects, and I found all these different things. At first I thought, oh, I have MTHFR, which I found out later, many people have it.
Right.
But that's what kind of started this whole thing. So I got on, the private groups in Facebook, and I was reading, and someone recommended you in South Florida,
right?
And that's how I found you, and I'm so happy.
Right. So okay. So what did we find out about? Like, why did you? Because I know we talked about this, but I don't remember. What put it on your radar to know that okay, not only does this doctor think that I just need grief counseling, but what put it on your radar that I better look into my genetics?
Right.
Yeah. How did you make that leap?
I think it was just, me being a nurse and me wanting to know,
like how she
just
passed,
wanted to know,
like she passed early, or
I think it was just me wanting to know answers, about the genetics. I think I'm just interested in that,
right,
in the first place, why that started. But I know as I started to research the different genetic defects I had,
right.
I mean, I was like, I had this one and that one and this, and I started to get overwhelmed, because it's not, everybody wants it to be, oh, I just need this supplement,
right,
oh, I just need this pill,
right.
It's not as simple as that, and
so,
it's not. And I got,
right,
even being a nurse, I was just confused, and so I really needed help, and that's what you
right.
manage this for me. You could see the big picture, not only I have this one gene and this is what you should do,
right,
because it's all interrelated.
It does become overwhelming. What happens is you learn what you don't know, you find out. Now when we say a genetic mutation or a genetic alteration, what it basically means is your enzymes don't get copied at the optimal rate. Meaning that when you have stressors, you need enzymes to produce over 250 cellular processes of the body, which has to do with dealing with stress, having a loss, repairing your tissues, your hair, your skin, your teeth, your nails, your bones, being able to make antioxidants to fight off infections, being able to make your neurotransmitters so that you can think and focus and clear out your hormones and repair your cells. But that becomes overwhelming, right? So here we are, we've started, and let's talk about what you've experienced in terms of positive outcomes. What's going on there?
Well, I definitely had some. Oh, another thing I forgot to say is, I also knew that you had taken so many of those classes, the
Dr. Lynch.
Yeah, the Dr. Lynch classes. So when I saw, and then I was like, okay, good.
Right.
At least he's gonna understand when I come to him and I say, I have, this is my profile. This is, and at least I knew that I could go from there.
I'll tell you what, that happens a lot where people I work with, they know more than their doctors. Right. When it comes to this stuff. And I guess that's kind of how I got down that pathway too, is I got to make sure I know more than they know.
Right.
And so I guess that also means that I was the biggest nerd in the room when it came to finding me from Dr. Lynch, right?
Because
I had a lot
you
of
were interested in it. So the positive outcomes I've had, I mean, since we started, it's a lot. Some of it's trial and error,
right.
But when some of the things that we started to work, it's such a great feeling because I don't get that where I'm freezing and everybody else is fine.
Right.
I don't have as much brain fog. I mean, yeah, everybody gets where they
Right.
can't think of that word, I mean, that's kind of normal.
Right.
But it was like lethargy where I was so
right?
tired I just couldn't even think. I couldn't, it was like a fog without thus
Right.
brain fog. I don't have that anymore.
Right.
And if I start to get that, I know what to do. I have the tools that you've taught me and
Right.
things that I do when I know that's coming.
Right.
And that is invaluable because that'll help me for the rest of my life.
No, that's awesome. I think the trial and error is really important to
Yeah.
clarify because it's not just one size fits all.
Right.
And I think that's the most important because when you have all these variables of stress, infections, traumas, even exposures to chemicals, foods that you eat, food sensitivities, stuff like that. So now we've been able to understand the way to best navigate those charted waters and those crazy obstacles. So what would you say, because a lot of the times people are a bit hesitant or they're skeptical, or bottom line is insurance doesn't pay for a lot of the stuff that we do. So what would you say to someone who may have been suffering and knows that it's more than just grief and that they need more than just counseling, and they've opened this Pandora's box of, oh my gosh, these are my genetics? So what would you say to them?
Well, I would definitely not go it alone because I would say, okay, definitely I would call you first of all,
right.
And I would say first of all, this money that you spend, it's the best money that you can spend. I mean, your health is the number one thing, and you can't be there for your family.
Right.
You can't, if you're at family events and you feel sick and you feel bad and you're grouchy and all this stuff, you're not going to enjoy your life. I mean, this is where you should spend your money.
Right.
You want to feel good again. You miss that feeling of feeling good, and you got to believe that you can.
Right.
Yes, you have to spend the money, but it's the best money that you can spend.
Right.
And you'll be so happy afterwards. I mean, it's, for me, sitting in this chair right now feeling better, it's a no-brainer.
Right.
I put it on a credit card. I mean, I don't even, meaning it's that point where you want to feel good.
Right. You can't put a price on that.
Right. And you're going to, you're trying to, these quick things that you want to, try this or try that. With all the things you've tried, you might as well put the money in the right place.
Right.
Instead of.
Yeah. I tell people that a lot too. You'll get nickel and dimed with a chronic health condition, like an Alzheimer's condition, or a type 2 diabetes condition.
Right.
Find out how much money that's going to cost in terms of medications, in terms of going to doctor's offices, in terms of just the money you can't put a price tag on events and family moments and history, just your ability to have memories and
you want to repair it.
Right.
Repair instead of just put a Band-Aid on it and take insulin because you're maybe diabetic. Try to repair as much as you can, and then start to build on that so it doesn't get worse. So you don't need that much medicine, or you may still need, it depends on what health condition it is. You still may need your prescription medicine, but it's better to repair what you can repair and get yourself at the optimal level.
Right.
So that when you do, if anything happens, you're already at a level of health, and then you can go from there.
And I think it's a verb, right? I mean, at the end of the day, you have tools now to understand how your body works, to understand what your triggers were, to understand what major other stressors that are going on in your body, to learn what your gut health had to do with this, learn what foods that you were eating has to do with this, learn how stabilizing your glucose has to do with this. And now you have the tools to be able to use that information to apply it yourself.
Oh yeah, and it is all those different things that come together, and I mean, and how to navigate that, because it's just too much for the one person to do it. But you can see the big picture and say, okay, we have to do this and this, and how is this working? Now, if this is working, let's work on this.
Right,
And it
right.
brings it all together. And it's so wonderful. And I'm so happy.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it was like, it
Yeah.
was so,
Yeah.
you know, just,
Well, you
I'm very grateful.
I'll tell you,
I'm very grateful.
I'm happy if I had every patient like Rainey, I think everyone would do better. And the reason that is, I'm being serious, because you have to have the desire, right?
Yeah.
Not everyone has the I deserve to be healthy, and it's my only option, because I don't want to live like this. I lost my mother, and I don't want to go down that same path.
Right.
But I want to enjoy my life. And also you have to be smart enough to know that you need support, and you know, I joke around, because when you first came in, you talked about I have this CBS gene and this, that, and the other. I don't even think you told me your name by then. I was just like, my name is CBS, and I think that's important.
Yeah, I was
right?
freaking out. I'm CBS.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people identify that. Like, they'll call me and say, "Oh my gosh, I have the MTHFR. Oh my gosh, I have, you know, the COMT, or I have the BHMT," and you're not your genes. But you're a cumulative impact of all the stressors and all the environmental toxins and then the genetic susceptibilities that result in where you're at.
Right.
So yeah, no, that's awesome. So just do you feel like you have the tools now? What's next for you? Yeah.
Oh yeah, I feel like right now I'm just, you know, trying to make sure that I keep up on these things. You know, there's certain things you have to do, and the better you feel, you want to do them. You know, like
Right.
certain things that help you, you know, detox better, or certain practices that you have, and certain
Right.
things, you know, that you try to stay away from, because you know, if I eat that,
Right.
it makes me feel
Right.
bad,
Right.
and you know, you can feel so good, so
Right.
you're almost like, it's not so hard to stay away from
Right.
anymore, because you're like, I know that's what makes me feel like
right.
crap,
And it's
you
not
know,
worth
and then
it.
so you say
Yeah.
it's not worth it.
No,
It ends
no,
up
no.
being, since you know in your mind that you can't have it, and
Right.
you know how you feel when you have it, and you know
Right.
how good you can feel,
Right.
you actually stay away from the bad things. So in that way, it's like a no-brainer. It's easier.
Yeah.
It's easier.
And on top of that, just, you know, we just happened to go over your daughter's genetics,
Mhm.
and a lot of people have children, and children have the same genes as you do, and if you have some genetic susceptibilities, they're going to have some genetic susceptibilities.
And
So there's that opportunity as well to, whatever you're using for yourself, in some way, shape, or form, if you haven't done a specific genetic test for your child, can still be implemented in that regards too.
Right.
And so
Right.
now you can use some of the tools that you have that are helping yourself to help your daughter.
Right.
Too,
And
yeah.
being there for your children, you want to be healthy. You want to be there for them.
Right.
And you also want to be happy and feel good when you're around them.
Right.
So it's like you can be there better for your family if you're healthy.
Right.
So and I wanted that. That was my number one motivator.
Right.
Yeah, it was to feel good, but also,
Right.
I mean,
to be the mom, the
Yeah.
wife,
to be the best
Right.
I can be.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much for doing this. I mean,
Oh.
this is where we get the most rewards from helping people too. So
Good.
I'm so happy that this is where you're at.
Yeah, me
So,
too. And
yeah.
I'm very, very thankful
Yeah. Well, good. I'm
for
thankful
you
too.
and how you've helped me.
Well, awesome.
Yeah.
Big hug.
Thank you.
That's great.
Yeah.
Thank you.